So you can see I've loaded IDEA up very quickly. I have some files over here already. So let's just take care of the big files. I've loaded a 3 million record set, a 6 million, and a 9 million. I can actually have those files active on my desktop by splitting the screen, maximizing. So I can actually drag a file and drop it on the other side if I want very quickly. So there's 18 million records open right there. So let's move off into some of the auditor tests. Let me close up these windows. So you can see here I've already imported a general ledger file right here. So let me open that up. There's a few things I do every time I open up a client data for the first time. The first thing I do is I kind of get my workspace organized the way I like it, and IDEA will remember your last setting when you closed, so each time you need to adjust it. The second thing I do is I want to get my arms around the record layout. So I open up the data field manipulation, and here is the record layout. I can easily change the name of the fields just by typing over them. However, all that does is change the field name. It does not change the underlying data at all. If for some reason a data element came in as a type that I need to change, again I just click on it and the available data element types drop down. I select the one I want. So that's the second thing I do. The third thing I like to do, of course, is take advantage of IDEA's data mining capability. So I've opened up the field statistics, and field statistics gives me three kind of views. The first one is numeric. So all the data fields in this file that are numeric, IDEA has already done some calculations to help me understand what's going on here. Now obviously this is probably where you would pull your information to balance back to the client's records before you spend a lot of time doing analysis when you may not be in agreement. The second field statistic is the date. So again, IDEA's data mining capabilities are already at work. You can see here that I can look down through a lot of information. If I come down all the way to the bottom, you see the records by entry date, and I see 42 records there that were entered on a Sunday. I'm not aware that the client works on Sunday, so I may want to save a copy of that information to journal entry on Sunday. Hit OK. Now I have not extracted anything. All I've done is save a file, and you can see that it's listed over in my files properties. And so let's go back to my field statistics. So the third view that you get is time. So here there is a timestamp when these journal entries were input, so I can actually look down. Again, I'm looking for anything that may be unusual, taking advantage of the IDEA's data mining capabilities. I see that there were 73 records that were entered before 6 a.m. Again, not aware that the client works at that hour. So I just want to save a quick snapshot of that so I can talk to the client later. Again, I have not extracted anything. I still have my parent file. So let's go back to the parent file. So I said we were going to do kind of a quick test that auditors would do, and a typical test that you would do on the general ledger is looking for whether or not this actually balances. I do have a lot of automated tests in here in our Smart Analyzer feature, and you can see there's a list here, out of balance journal entries, and we're not going to use the automated, we're going to do it live, but I do have it loaded. So the first thing we notice, we've got a challenge here. Our debit and credit fields are in separate fields, so we need to pull that data into one field. So I'm going to open up the field manipulation, add a new record, and since my debits and credits are in 2 decimal places, I'm going to make this one. That's all it takes to add a new data element to an IDEA record set. Of course, now we must tell IDEA how to populate that. So I'm going to go over here to the parameter and open up the equation editor. You can see at the bottom of the equation editor all of my field names are there. I can actually select them, or I can actually type them in. As I start typing, IDEA gives me hints on data field names that match. So I want to pull my debits and credits together. There's my equation. I want to see that the syntax is right and it passed. I want to input that, hit OK, push it across the data file. I now have a new data field. I can pull it over here and I can kind of visually test to see that it is correct, and it is. So the next thing I need to do is, you'll notice that I have all the line item details for this journal entry. So to determine whether or not this file is in fact balancing, I need to pull the journal entries back together. We'll use a summarization tool here on journal entry. I'm going to output sum by journal entry. I want the sum, I want the amount, hit OK, and I now have all the journal entries. Now what we're looking for are journal entries that do not balance to 0. Probably the fastest way to do that is use a direct extraction. So hit direct extraction, non-balancing journal entries, hit the equation editor, take advantage of the tools, does not equal 0, check the syntax, A-OK, hit the tool, hit OK, and there is 4 journal entries, and I can drill down, use the data mining, and I can see what the journal entries are. Okay, so the last thing that I said we were going to do is we were going to pull together a script. I open up Project Overview. Takes a few seconds to load it up. It's pulling in all the work that I've done on this client audit so far. I want to create an IDEA script. I highlight what I want to include. I hit finish. Tells me when I exit, all the data is going to be, all the code will be in the text editor. I have it. I can file save as. I can save it as a script or source file or an executable. If I'm giving it to staff, I probably want to save just the executable. Non-balancing journal entry, save, close up all my data files, come back to my macros, open a macro, non-balancing journal entry, run the macro. Okay, it's already detected that I've already ran this test, which I did to test this out. So here we're sitting on the import the journal entry. So I've already ran the sum by journal entry, I've already run the non-balancing, and there we are back to the same result. So I've gone from ad hoc to repeatable. Of course I could save it as a .exe, make it an executable, match it up with an XP file scheduler, and I can make that repeatable. So I can make that continuous with a data feed over the company shared network. So that's it for me. Again, if you have any questions, you can type them in on the screen, or you can email them to me at dons@automation.com. Always like to hear from you. Thanks.